Hi, this is Lorena from the MG channel. Welcome to our live video. I haven't done a video in a little while, and basically, um, I've been working a lot, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that because a lot of you guys out there with Myastenia Gravis also face being parents and grandparents and working, and it gets really tough out there. I know that it really, for me, it gets to a point where I've really been in a rut and I'm working probably 12 hours a day. And that's gets very tiring after a while. And on your body, um, starts to respond negatively and you start getting sick with other things as well as MG. I know, like right now, I can feel this eyelid just grabbing over my eye. It's like feels like it's um, not functioning the same as the other eye, and I've been really tired and kind of really drawn out. Um, so one of the things I'd like to talk about is good diet because when we get really busy, we're really tired and we tend to do some really easy stuff. And that easy stuff is not always the best for you. When you have myasthenia gravis, a good diet is real lot. You want to keep up your manganese levels. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. When you are feeling good on that day off, if you can pre-prepare a few things for the fridge and just get things so that they're easier to do. In other words, that day off, you might want to cut up a bunch of vegetables and have different bags of things so that you can just draw from stuff from the fridge and make some fantastic soups, for instance, are very good for us. Now, I know a lot of people talk about bone marrow soup, and it is great for arthritis. It is great for people who are experiencing inflammation in their body, and that sometimes is myasthenia gravis people too, because we have multiple immune disorders. That's kind of comes with the territory after a while. You never have just kind of one thing, right? So, what I wanted to suggest to you, if you can avoid the bone marrow part, which can overactivate your immune system because it is good for you, but when our system is overactivated, we end up with a little bit more myasthenia gravis stuff going on. So if you can replace that with lots of great vegetables, I like to throw in some, chicken breast, but really it doesn't take very much meat to just give it that little bit of meat in there. And then load it up with vegetables. Really go to town and use your imagination. And one of the things I also like to include is stinging nettle. So I have dried stinging nettle just in the house from the previous season. You can also use fresh. Once it's been cooked or dried, it no longer has the little stingy thingies. So, and it is very high in manganese, very good for you to eat. You can also eat lamb's quarters in there. Sorrel is good if you've got that fresh in season. And if you have garlic scapes in season, that's really nice in the soup pot too, right? So these things will help bolster the immune system without overactivating it, giving you more manganese and balancing those essential minerals in your body, because the more unbalanced it is, the more myasthenia gravis symptoms you will have. So one of the things I'd like to talk about is if you can do that, and this is what I try to do because right now I'm out of balance. As you can see, my face is hanging a little more droopy on the eyes, and I'm a little more tired. You can hear it in my voice. And so if you can get back into it, I'm going to be doing this this weekend. Today is Friday, so I'm going to spend one day this weekend pre-preparing my vegetables as I normally do, which I've kind of gotten away from in the last few weeks because I've been very busy. And now you see the results. I'm tired, so I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to kind of step by step Basically, what I do is I take my first few vegetables. It's usually my onions um, and my garlic scapes if I have any. And I like to just saute them until they have a nice goldenness to them. And I do that in a little bit of butter, sunflower seed oil, olive oil, your choice. Um, and then once I've got that goldenness, that's what's going to give my soup color and a little caramel. And then I go to town. I like to use chickpeas. It has a nice protein to it, but I want to really incorporate a lot of those dark leafy greens. That's really helpful for us. And the stinging nettle. Sometimes I chop up a breast of chicken. Doesn't need a lot of meat. In fact, doesn't need any meat. Salt, pepper, garlic to taste. And then you can incorporate some of your own spices to make it your own, whether you want to go more of a chicken soup route or it's up to you. I like to incorporate carrots. You can put potatoes. I like to leave the skin on my potatoes. I mean, really, a lot of your nutrients are in the skin. I like to use younger potatoes if they're available. You can't always do that. Um, it's just my personal favorite. Um, it doesn't really do a whole lot for you, but it does kind of, thicken the pot a little bit for you. Um, by doing that, and you can do that in different variations depending on the day, by having a easy to make soup, it only takes, throw everything in the pot and then start to finish, you've got in an hour, you've got a meal for your family. I even like to do a little bit of soda bread, lump together a little bit of flour, a little bit of milk, little fat, salt, pepper, leveling, and away you go into the oven, and you have a nice fresh biscuit to go with your soup. You can do that, or you can do dumplings right into the soup, or you can just not if you have trouble with bread products. Um, it's just a nice hearty, especially right now. It's only, maybe 2 or 3 Celsius out there, 10 Celsius maximum. So it's still a little bit chilly. So soups are really nice and they really help pick you up. But one of the other things you need to remember with myasthenia gravis is you do need some fast sugars. And you can get that by simply making a little bit of a fruit shake on the side. You don't have to be real elaborate with that. I like to use, and this is kind of funny, avocados are very high in manganese. So I like to throw a little bit of avocado in my fruit shakes, and it actually makes almost the creamy part of the shake. I also do use probably about 2 tablespoons of sugar in there just to cut some of the bitter side of that. And then I use water. Most of the time, my shakes don't contain any milk products. And you can use peaches, you can use really whatever's in the house. Bananas always blend very well, and they help with your sugar levels as well. You probably not need to add sugar if you put bananas in there. I personally like a little bit of pineapple, but for you to eat properly and not have some of that swallowing problem, if you can have that shake like 15 minutes before you eat the rest of your food, it's really going to be helpful. Of course, don't overcook too much because your vegetables will start disappearing into your soup. It does create nice flavor. However, I find personally I like to have my vegetables um, a little more dante, so that you still have something to chew. However, if you have any real bad myasthenia symptoms going on with your swallowing, another thing you can do with this soup, which is highly nutritious for you, you made it, and you made it out of good stuff, right? Is you can also throw that in the blender and make it into something that you can sip out of a cup and don't have any lumps that you need to chew if you just need to get some of those vitamins and minerals going in your body and the sustenance and the proteins. And it's really, really important about balance because when you balance your foods and your intake, you're going to balance your body a lot better. And rest. Try to have a schedule, a routine that allows you the time to have that, full 7 hours of sleep and rest intervals in between. Remembering that, if you're in a very active job, you're going to have to rest more, in order to compensate for that. Or if you have little children, oh boy, running after kids, that can be really tiring. So you really, mom, you need to look after yourself. So this is Lorena with the MG channel with some suggestions about trying to pick up your energy with your fruit smoothie about 15 minutes before you eat, so that you can chew and swallow better. Now, remember that fruit smoothie. You don't necessarily need to add ice to it. What you can do is have your stuff pre-cut up, thrown in the freezer so that it's frozen, and then you're just adding water. No ice cubes. It's not quite as cold because that can also be a problem for you. So too hot, too cold, especially when you're having swallowing difficulties and saliva. This will help you to get the nutrients you need. So take that 1 day a week, pre-prepare some stuff, throw it in the freezer, get it ready so that all you have to do is just toss it in the blender for your shake, and then have a few bags going of pre-cut up vegetables. Most things will last pretty well in the fridge for that week, and then you can have fresh homemade food all week long. That's easy to prepare. You don't have to do much, and that way, for sure, when you get home from work, you can do have a nice, nutritious meal that's going to help with your myasthenia gravis and help you recover. Especially if you're like me, I'm a little drawn out right now, and I need to have a little bit of recovery so that I can get back on my game. Like I said, as you can see right here, I look closely, I've got some droopiness going on, and you can kind of see it in the overall face too. Another amazing thing is I actually, on April 1st, I had turned 50. So I'm pretty pumped. I was a little bit um, scared about turning 50. I don't know if you were feeling that way when you went through this age, but for me, um, a mother, grandmother, business owner, and wife, and I was looking at 50 and going, whoa, where did the time go? And I don't know what the big difference between 49 and 50 was, but apparently there's a difference in my head anyway. But after I kind of crossed that threshold about a week later, I would say, I started to realize that it was just a number, and you are as good as you feel. And I started thinking, well, you know what? I need to work on that because I've been working too much. And when you have myasthenia gravis, as you know, this will catch up to you very quickly. So I'm now starting on my path to recovery, uh, and don't beat yourself up about it either, guys. I mean, it is tough. It's tough when you have um, myasthenia gravis or other multiple immune disorders that are similar. Um, you can get in a rut very quickly, and when your um, problem starts taking hold, it's like it's almost like it knows when you're down, and that's when it'll pounce, right? So you need to remember, not beat yourself up, work on a plan of action, make sure you're getting your rest, make sure you're taking some time out. Oh, I joined some ladies last Friday, and it was really nice. It was a full moon celebration, and what it was a meditation of good intention. And it was a wonderful experience, very calming, very centering, and you're able to voice what you want and throw it out into the world so that you can have good things come back to you with your good intentions going out into the world. So remember what I talked about before with attitude. You really have to start looking at the glass half full versus half empty when it comes to myasthenia gravis, because nothing is ever going to be perfect. Your life is not perfect. And really, this stands true for normal people as well. But for us, it's even more so because once our scales start tipping, that balance is off, we can get really, really sick. As you can see, I even have a cough. And, everybody says, "Oh, you just look so tired." Yeah, I get it. But you know what? You can fix that. I'm going to work on fixing that. And then we're going to talk again. My very next episode, we're actually going to be a cooking episode. I'm going to go start to finish through one of our soups. I'm going to put together everything so that you can see what I do to do a wellness soup, if you will. I do many different kinds of soup, and usually how I put together my soups, it's all about having something that um, for whatever's going on. So am I feeling stressed out? Am I feeling tired? My soup is going to contain things that will help that problem. If my husband has, like, I don't know, some swelling, I'm going to incorporate more anti-inflammatory things into the soup and into the shakes, and that helps with recovery. So that's it for today. I wanted to let you know the next one, we're going to do one of those amazing soups. And I'm going to show you just a little bit of the pre-prepare process. So, of kinds of things that you can keep in your fridge that makes it so much easier for you than grabbing a hot dog. And that is not going to help you. Trust me, not going to help you. So, um, this is Lorena with the MG channel. Looking forward to seeing you next time. And in the comments, please like, subscribe. But in the comments, I really, really want to see, what is it that you're doing that works for you? Share with everybody else here, because you know what? We're all in this together. And if you have something that really works, maybe I'm going to try it out on camera, and we're going to go through the process of this wonderful recipe for giving you energy. Again, like, subscribe. This is Lorena with the MG channel, and you have a solar day. Thanks.